Hello, MMOA community. My name is Annoushka Ranaraja, and I'm a TA with the Modern Management of Older Adult Division of the Institute of Clinical Excellence. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the importance of play in light of Mental Health Awareness Month. But first, I'm going to tell you about what we have coming up with the MMOA division. MMOA Essential Foundations is currently up and running, but the next cohort will start August 9th. MMOA Advanced Concepts starts on May 4th, so this Thursday. If you've taken Essential Foundations, get signed up to join us. We would love to have you. MMOA Live, we have another triple header weekend coming up May 20th and 21st. We will be in Scottsdale, Arizona, Simi Valley, California, and Charlotte, North Carolina. So if any of those work for you, feel free to hop in. We still have seats in all of those classes. And then even though this is a little further out, I just want to put this on your radar because August 12th to 13th, the whole team will be at Lexington, Kentucky for MMOA Live, which will be an amazing time. And we get to check out Dustin and Jeff's new Stronger Life gym, which is even more exciting. So if you can make that work, we'd love to have you. But today, I am going to talk to you a little bit more about play and why that's important to us and our older adult population. I'm on this big Brene Brown kick and just finished listening to The Power of Vulnerability and The Gifts of Imperfection, both of which I highly recommend. But in The Gifts of Imperfection, she discusses the idea of play and how Dr. Stuart Brown says that this is embedded into our nature. When I say the word play, what do you think of? For me, I see kids running around, playing, laughing, around a playground, on the grass. Doesn't really strike me as like older adults playing, right? But play is not just for kids. Dr. Brown says humor, games, roughhousing, flirtation, and fantasy are more than just fun. It is a biological drive as integral to our health as sleep or nutrition. As we get older, we sometimes lose that sense of play or decrease interaction because of our physical limitations or because we have limited access to our community. But this is detrimental to our health, especially our mental health. Dr. Brown says that the opposite of play isn't work. The opposite of play is depression. There is a review published by Clinical Interventions in Aging that look for specific risk factors for suicidal thoughts and behaviors among older people, including psychiatric and neurocognitive disorders, social exclusion, bereavement, cognitive impairment, decision-making and cognitive inhibition, physical illness, and physical and psychological pain. This addresses a lot of the patients I work with and probably includes a lot of the patients that you work with. So this brings up the importance of why we need to address these stress factors, such as feelings of social disconnectedness, neurocognitive impairments, or decision-making, as well as chronic physical illness and disability. So what can we do? First thing is actually screen for depression. There's a few different ways to do this, but the PHQ-9 is a series of questions that rate severity of depression. It's super easy to implement. You can ask them really simply while you're with them. I'd suggest doing this more in person than handing it to them and having them do it at home as part of your packet for eval, just because I think when you're having a conversation, it's a little bit easier to read them and see how they're actually feeling versus them knowing what you're looking for and just checking boxes. But we can use this information to refer out as appropriate. I think it's really important to have some type of counseling, psychological support groups as part of your network and use that to refer out for these people. But the other thing that I like to do in my eval is I ask patients what they enjoy doing or what are activities that they don't currently do that they would like to get back to. I work with the neurological population. So a lot of the times when I ask patients what they like doing, they're like, well, I can't do any of the things that I used to like doing, or I don't do anything, or that they like to sit and watch TV. But when you really get into a conversation with them of what they used to do when they were younger or before they were diagnosed, they typically have other things that they enjoy doing. So it doesn't take a lot of time to get this information. I really build it into a lot of my, like when I'm just walking with my patients, I'll just talk to them about it. But yeah, it doesn't take a lot of time, but it brings so much value because it allows us to, what is my next point, add play into treatment. Dr. Brown says spending time in playfulness keeps the balance for well-being alive. Find those activities they love and want to get back to, and find ways to incorporate them into therapy. We have patients who like to bowl, golf, or dance, which are all great activities to work on dynamic balance. Maybe they like to sing, so I'll have them sing while they're doing activities such as walking, and now I've added a dual task component. Another thing that you can do is just encourage patients to get back into those activities they love. Maybe there's a local senior center that they can go to that allows for more interaction and organized games, just general socialization, right? Like sometimes that's all our patients need. Maybe there's a local gym like Stronger Life that is for seniors and allows more for that social interaction while they're also getting the benefit of exercise. It's something so great in the community. Maybe you work on ways to accommodate for their impairments that will allow them to complete the activities they love. This is a big reason why we add these into their therapy treatments. Just being able to troubleshoot with them and figure out, okay, like, yes, you can't use that hand, but how can we accommodate to make this easier for you, to make it accessible to them? Maybe it's something simple as finding them a reliable ride source to get to activities. That sometimes is the biggest barrier patients have, is that they don't drive anymore. So a lot of really easy things to add in, simple things for us to just spend a little bit extra time with our patients and make it meaningful, right? There have been so many patients that I've worked with who say that physical therapy is the only time that they get out of the house or socialize, or it's a highlight of their day. So as much as I love being part of my patients' lives, we can't be everything for them. We need to give them find ways to give them that access to do other things, to get out of their house, to socialize. We talk so much in MMOA, especially in live, like we're resource dealers. So how do we give them those resources to get back to that stuff? We can be an integral part of improving the quality of life just by listening to them, by adding in some fun activities during treatment, and pointing them in the right direction of how they can add play back into their days. All right, so that's all I have for you tonight. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Like, if there's any reason that you don't know how to document some of these things, like I said, it's like I'm great at figuring out like dynamic balance, easy enough. You're working on these things with this activity, but something I do all day long. So feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to add a few resources below of things that I use for this podcast, but also just like some of Dr. Stuart Brown's work and the research article that we looked at for depression in older adult population. But thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your evening.